This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, local cases of head trauma reach epidemic proportions and staff at the city's treatment centre say caution is needed. One student's junk is another student's treasure and it can be found at a free shop run by the OUSA. And is the end nigh for polio? We meet some residents who are part of a global push to prevent the virus from spreading. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Brain injury specialists are pushing for people to be more cautious when dealing with head trauma. It's the annual appeal day for the Brain Injury Association to raise money for various projects. And local staff say they're dealing with a surprising number of cases.
Advocating for a thoughtful cause. These campaigners are trying to raise public awareness about the huge problem the country has with head trauma.
Brain injury is at epidemic proportions in New Zealand, and there's one happening every 15 minutes. Majority of those are mild brain injuries, about 95% I think it was, and a lot of those are avoidable.
The different types of brain injury include concussion, aneurysm and stroke. This year the association is focusing on concussions. Experts say the general public doesn't know enough about the subject, so more education is needed.
When you look at the senior rugby players, All Blacks and Super 15, they're well monitored if they do receive a concussion, but the general population often tend to ignore it, and concussion is something you can recover from, but you need to look after yourself, and it's about getting that message out.
On average, 90 New Zealanders sustain a brain injury every day. That's more than 30,000 cases every year, and the true number is believed to be higher.
Those are the ones that are recorded, where people are going to the doctor. And I think we all know there are people out there who don't go to a GP when they've had a concussion. They just try and get themselves back to wellness again.
Residents are being advised to get checked by their family doctor and take it easy if recovering from concussion. It's all an effort to ensure people look after the only brain they've got. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
More asbestos has been discovered at Dunedin Hospital, forcing the closure of extra services. In addition to parts of the hospital already closed, the mortuary and several laboratories are now off limits. Asbestos is present in the ultrasound suite and a number of rooms, corridors and stairwells. It's in at least 4 different levels of the main hospital building. Experts are containing and removing asbestos and cleaning contaminated areas. There's not believed to be any serious threat to staff or patients, but the Southern District Health Board is taking precautions. It's been routinely testing the hospital for asbestos, and so far several different kinds of the hazardous substance have been found. Local tertiary students are helping one another outside the classroom through a project organised by the OUSA. The Students' Association is opening a free shop for pre-loved flatting goods, and the new venture is likely to ease the load for rubbish collectors. Out
with the old. These University of Otago students are handing over items from their flat for the next influx of people set to live around campus.
At the end of the year, there's often quite a lot of stuff that's left out from flats on the pavements, or it's thrown away into the skips, and much of it is quite usable and could be quite useful for students at another time.
Student support staff say furniture is often left on the side of the road when students are vacating flats and leaving the city. The idea of a free shop is aimed at keeping the streets a bit cleaner. In that vein, collectors are offering to pick up usable items that students are wanting to get rid of.
What we're doing is encouraging students to not throw away the stuff that is in good condition and could perhaps find a home with another student next year, but to let us come and pick it up and use it to open a free shop next year.
Setting up a student flat can be expensive, despite many renters opting for cheap items. This new project is also aiming to cut costs, especially as many students aren't in a position to earn money for essentials.
A lot of students don't have anything at all, so we're thinking things like kettles, toasters, crockery, cutlery, cooking utensils, those are just the basics. And if you bought them new, well, you could easily spend a couple of $100 just like that.
Interest in the concept is already picking up, with numerous students registering to have their furniture collected. That'll happen over the next few weeks, and support staff are planning to open the free shop early next year. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
3 local teenagers are in serious trouble after being caught stealing food from a South Dunedin cafe. The teenagers were seen breaking into a shop called Coffee at about 3 o'clock this morning. Police set up a cordon and used dogs to track them. They were found around the corner on Young Street, eating sandwiches and chocolates they'd stolen from the shop. The youngest 2, who are 13 and 15 years old, have been referred to Youth Aid. The eldest, aged 17, has been charged. Dunedin Central Rotary is helping the global fight to end polio. Locals are backing an international campaign to raise money for polio prevention, and staff at one business in particular are showing their support in style.
Wearing purple to end polio. Staff at Cargill Enterprises are getting behind the global campaign to eradicate polio once and for all.
We've been lucky with businesses and charities donating us money in the last year and a half. So what we'd like to do is make a donation back. So we've done some fundraising and we'll be giving $100 or more to the World Polio Day appeal.
October the 24th is World Polio Day, and Dunedin Central Rotary is backing the Purple Pinky project.
And what that means is when you're in Pakistan and whatever, when your little kids get that little drop on their tongue that prevents polio, they get their pinky painted purple, and that way everybody knows that they've had their polio preventive drops.
As Cargill Enterprises staff are going about their daily work, planning is underway for a weekend street appeal. Some of these locals will be involved, and the money raised will be magnified by donations from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
It costs 75 cents for that little drop to go on a child's tongue to prevent polio. So what we're looking at doing with the foundation is every dollar from Rotary is matched by $2 from the Bill Gates Foundation.
Polio is a crippling virus, mostly affecting people in Afghanistan, Nigeria and Pakistan. It used to be a much bigger problem, and there's a global desire to see it wiped out completely. Campaigners say there's no need for anti-polio efforts to be in vain.
Now, 30 years ago, there were over 350,000 cases of polio worldwide. The last year, there have been 51. We can't go back.
These workers from the Disabled Citizens Society are wearing their hearts on their sleeves. They're wanting to show the community that they care and are willing and able to make a positive difference. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, one of the Southern Sinfonia's players takes on a new role, and a visiting expert shares her expertise in modern warfare.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
This year's Oamaru Heritage Festival's theme is Alice in Wonderland, celebrating the sesquicentennial of its writing. Join us in Oamaru November 11th to 16th. See www.vhcu.co.nz for details. And don't be late for this very important date.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 King Edward Street, opposite Westpac.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. Scott Technology is the only local business to win a National Innovation Award. The Dunedin-based international company won the Sustained Innovation Excellence Award. It specialises in automated systems for meat processing. Several other local businesses and entrepreneurs were selected as finalists for the awards. The yearly recognition comes from the New Zealand Innovation Council. And on that note, let's take a look at today's markets. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 52 points. It's now at 5,975. The Dow Jones is up 321 points. And to the exchange rates, and the Kiwi dollar closes the week up against all the currencies we follow. A University of Otago violinist has been appointed as the 11th concertmaster of the Southern Sinfonia. Tessa Peterson has a long association with the orchestra and she joins us to talk about her new role. Good evening.
Good evening.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does a concertmaster do?
Well, if I were to refer to a rugby team, I would describe a symphony orchestra as being like a large rugby team, and as the concertmaster I would be charged by them as their leader, as their captain.
Ooh. So how is this going to be a different role for you?
Well, I have led the orchestra in the past and I have led other orchestras in the past, but recently I've played as a member of the orchestra, and so I play as part of a team of, you know, highly experienced, trained musicians, and you defer to your concertmaster in that sense. So I'm stepping up to that role now.
What are you most excited about with this change?
Well, Simon Nova has come in as our new principal guest conductor, and I'm really looking forward to working closely with him. And it's always a thrill to work with visiting conductors as well, and soloists, and the new repertoire that we'll be looking at as well.
How much of your time is spent with the orchestra?
Well, we have a subscription concert, so we have about 5 concerts a year in that, and other concerts as well, but service concerts as well. And so we come together for about a week every time we have a concert, but there's background work to be done approaching a concert as well, like for the concertmaster it's doing bowings and liaising with the conductor and the manager and that sort of thing as well.
Tell us about your musical beginnings.
Well, I very much grew up in Dunedin, and I'm very much a product, I'm proud to say I'm a product of the Dunedin musical education scene. I started very young, violin at 4 and the piano at 6, and worked my way through all the Saturday morning recorder and orchestras, and had many wonderful violin teachers in this city. So that was how I became a violinist.
And you also teach violin at the university?
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, I've always loved teaching and performing, and so I've developed those two threads of my career from the very beginning. And I just happened to decide with my family to move back here in 2006 for the quality of education for my children, and it was very fortuitous that the position became vacant about a year after that. So,
what is the most challenging aspect of pursuing a career in music?
I think one has to be very versatile these days. You have to take every opportunity, and you have to be ready to step up and play your very best at any moment, rather like that All Black that's been brought in, flown in to replace somebody. You have to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and always to play your best, because you never know who's going to be watching or listening to that performance.
Are there many opportunities for young violinists these days?
I think it's more difficult these days, and I think the key thing is that a student can't just expect to live in a practice room for 6 years and then emerge and say, okay, where's my job? They actually have to go out and seek their employment and seek the opportunities and to make new opportunities for themselves as musicians. But it is possible.
And what do you hope to achieve as concertmaster?
Well, I would like to develop the string sound even more. As concertmaster, I'm in charge in a way of developing that string sound, working closely with the other principals, the principal wind, Nick Cornish's principal oboe, and just to also bring the orchestra to new audiences as well.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations once again on
Thank
the
you
position.
very much. Thank
Tessa
you.
Peterson from the Southern Sinfonia. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, a local school sends a message of support to the All Black captain, and we'll take a look at this week's online poll results.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new All Black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special 0800 502 402.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. An international expert in the use of lethal drones has been visiting the city to launch a book on the topic. The Centre for Peace and Conflict Studies invited the author to discuss her findings with students at the University of Otago. And she says modern warfare isn't just an issue for some countries.
Words written to spark debate. American author Laurie Calhoun's latest work examines the morality of using drones to kill people. She's been in Dunedin launching the book at the University of Otago, where it's been well received.
Lots of people seem interested in the topic. I think the questions have been on people's minds for a while, but the topic has never really been debated. Part of the reason for that is that it wasn't discussed. It wasn't acknowledged by the government for 10 years.
Research for the book wasn't easy, with drone technology relatively new, but the lack of historical information allowed Calhoun to focus on their current use and whether they're necessary.
The reason why we have a drone program is because the technology was developed. So the ability to kill people thousands of miles away without putting boots on the ground has given leaders the capacity to kill people whom they would not have killed in the 20th century.
Drones are unmanned aerial vehicles, which often have missiles or ammunition strapped to them to be used to kill. They're primarily being used by the United States, Russia and the UK, but Calhoun says drones are something people everywhere should know and care about.
I think that the public needs to be taking notice of this. I mean, a New Zealander was killed not too long ago in Yemen, so it's affecting everyone, even New Zealanders.
She's heading back to the United States at the end of the month, with plans to continue the lethal drone conversation. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Local secondary school pupils have been forming their own special message of support for the All Blacks. Students of Otago Boys High School gathered on their rugby grounds at lunchtime to make a large-scale formation. They spelled out "Go Richie," showing their support for former pupil and All Blacks captain Richie McCaw. He boarded at the school from 1994 to 1998. McCaw was the head boy in his last year at Otago Boys, where he played in the school's top rugby team. The All Blacks will play South Africa in the Rugby World Cup semi-final on Sunday morning, New Zealand time. Local academics are leading a nationwide call for the government to take urgent action on climate change. They say residents will suffer the negative effects if the government's current approach continues. This week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asks if you're worried about climate change. 63% of you are, 37% of you are not. Health experts are calling for a tax to be imposed on sugary drinks. Research suggests that would help to reduce the number of overweight New Zealanders as well as associated health problems. Next week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asks if you think junk food should be made more expensive to help curb obesity. You can vote at our website dunedintv.co.nz. And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The local Brain Injury Association says head trauma has reached epidemic proportions, with 90 new cases every day. Tertiary students are helping one another through a free shop for used flatting goods, which is set to reduce roadside rubbish. And staff at Cargill Enterprises are donning purple shirts in support of a global Rotary campaign to put an end to polio. It's time now to find out what's going to be in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. And Mr. Walsh joins us, Dave Cannon. Good evening.
Rebecca, how are you? Well, tomorrow's Prester John hat, but anyway, we'll swap hats. We've got a very big edition this weekend, of course, that being Labour weekend. Our main story is a story about the museum, about the admission numbers at the museum. All has not been well with how the numbers have been tallied up over the years, so we have a close look at that. We've got a follow-up on the asbestos scare down at the hospital, of course. That's a pretty major story. We've got some coverage of Richie's
personal sign.
It's pretty remind people years ago we had something about Go Otago, using sheep and eating hay out in the paddock somewhere. But
ingenious.
Yes, it was genius. Because we have Weekend Mix on Saturday, the magazine feature. And one of the main stories there is Truth About Sex, which I'm sure some people will want to read. I'm pretty it's very truth. And we're also back in the Daily, we've got a big look at the future of Dunedin City. We've got a first of a two-part series about where Dunedin's heading and that. So, and Neil Diamond's in town.
Yes, have you seen him?
No, he hasn't been to see me either, which I'm most disappointed about. But
you might see him tomorrow night.
I'm going to see him tomorrow night, all things being equal. But we've got a story tomorrow about a special treat for an elderly Neil Diamond fan from Alexandra who's come down for the concert and has been given a special treat for the concert. So
super stuff.
Heaps to read this weekend.
Thank you. That's tomorrow's ODT. Thanks,
Thank
Dave. Time now for local weather.
Weather Report proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
And here is today's city view. It's taken off Bird Island. And around the city today at 3 o'clock, 16 degrees for the central city and the Tyree, 18 for the gardens. To the situation, and not much change here. The cool southwest flow is still with us and will remain so over the weekend. To some of the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. Showers and westerlies in Invercargill, westerlies with showers later on for Gore, southwesters and showers in Te Anau, and westerlies with high cloud for Alexandra, highs of between 14 and 17 degrees. Fine with westerlies for Queenstown, the winds will be northeast in Oamaru, but otherwise fine. Westerlies with some high cloud for both Wanaka and Twizel in both towns on 17 degrees. In Dunedin tonight, becoming fine with a low of 6. Tomorrow, high cloud developing, nor'easters tending westerly during the day, but sou'westers and brief showers are likely in the evening. If you're going to Neil Diamond, take a hat and a coat. 16 degrees is the high. And on Sunday, mostly fine and sunny with westerlies and a high of 14. My pick for washing day, bang on Saturday. Finally, to the Otago Pellet Fires tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow afternoon is at 20 to 2. Low tide on Sunday afternoon is at 20 to 3. And fishing conditions look good this weekend, particularly around 10 past 10 on Saturday morning, 5 past 11 on Sunday morning. And that's local news for this week. We will leave you now some shots from the week that was. We'll see you again on Tuesday. We're taking a break for the long weekend. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.